In the 8th year of our marriage, photos of Edward Baker on vacation across Europe with his childhood sweetheart flooded the internet. The woman, Kendra Phillips, even posted a bold caption, "Eternally in love." With no final chapter in sight, I used my verified account to like her post. Then, without hesitation, I publicly shared a photo of our marriage certificate. He called immediately, his voice laden with fury. "Lorna, what were you thinking? Do you know how badly Kendra is being attacked online because of you?" Any fragile hope still in my heart turned to dust. I hadn't forgotten it was our wedding anniversary. "Let's get divorced," I said calmly when he finished. "Just as you wished for back then." I had just finished packing. After 8 years, everything I owned barely filled 2 suitcases. The rest were gifts given out of obligation, not affection. After Edward fell out with his family because of me, he'd kept me hidden as the perfect housewife, first with a secondary credit card, then with endless criticism before taking even that away. "If you apologize to Kendra and post a statement online, I can still forgive you," he said, his tone full of moral superiority. "Even though Kendra has a boyfriend," I replied softly, "she still needs your company." He fell silent. After a long pause, his voice turned icy. I interrupted him. "So, as I said, let's get divorced. That's what you want, isn't it?" "Are you really sure you want a divorce from me?" he asked, distant and cold. "I'm not fighting with you. I'm just divorcing you," he snorted, amused. "I didn't expect you to play hard to get. Fine. Just don't come crying when you regret it." The call ended. Soon after, his mother called, her voice warm but reproachful. "Lorna, how could you? Kendra is just a child, spoiled. You're the older one. Apologize in person, make a statement, and we can all move on." "I don't think so," I said calmly. "We're finalizing our divorce. I have nothing to apologize for, and this isn't the 1800s. We don't have concubines." I hung up and blocked her. The scandal had forced them to cut their European trip short. I called Edward. "So you realized you were wrong," he answered, disdainful. "Come back and apologize to Kendra. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp, Civil Affairs Office. I'm taking Kendra to the Phillips to clean up your mess." "I don't have time." "I'll wait until 10, I said coldly. "If you're not there, I'll file in court." "Let's see if you really have the guts," he sneered before hanging up. He never showed. At noon, I walked away from the courthouse, took out my phone, and dialed a number I hadn't used in years. "Dad," I began. "If you regret it, come home," my father's voice boomed. "Dinner tonight. Mrs. Harrington will make your favorites." I rubbed my nose, a faint tingle behind my eyes. "Dad, can you help me find a good divorce lawyer?" Within minutes, he sent a contact. As I finished arranging a meeting, a familiar voice sounded behind me. Well, what a coincidence. It was Josh, Edward's best friend from childhood. "Do you want something?" I asked coldly. He smiled, arm around a curvy woman. "Aren't you going back to the Bakers? I'm waiting for him. We're getting divorced." His smile vanished. He laughed nervously. "Come on. Edward and Kendra are just friends. You're overreacting." I nodded slowly. "Then I hope the person you love most ends up having many friends like Kendra." I got in my car and left. Later, I saw a photo in a group chat. Edward and Kendra at the Baker mansion, his gaze tender as he looked at her. We had a marriage of arrangement that surprisingly turned real. I'd fallen deeply in love. When the Bakers faced financial ruin, I didn't hesitate. I used my own money to save them. He had promised me the world. His parents had treated me like a treasure. But the moment they realized I was truly in love, the moment I lost my parents' protection after a family dispute, everything changed. Edward came home later, his scandals more frequent. The Bakers' eyes turned cold. And when Kendra returned from abroad, their disdain was unmistakable. My phone vibrated. A text from Edward. Kendra has a fever. We'll talk about the divorce tomorrow. I looked at the photo of the perfect couple. The irony was bitter. Now that I saw his true nature, I was done playing his game. I turned my car around and drove to the Hopkins family estate. My entire family was waiting. After I shared everything, my father slammed his hand on the table. That Baker boy has gone too far. My brother turned to me. Lorna, you're not impulsive. What do you want to do? I want the divorce, I said with calm determination. But before that, I plan to collect some interest from the Baker family. 8 years of money, youth, love, and humiliation. I wanted it all back, with interest. With the Hopkins family pulling strings, the recently silenced scandal resurfaced with a vengeance. I released everything, the recording of Edward's furious call, his mother's plea, photos of them hand in hand. The news spread like wildfire. Baker holding stock began to plummet. In a desperate move, the Bakers issued a statement painting them as innocent childhood friends and me as irrational. Online opinion began to sway. I ignored it all, focusing on the divorce. My lawyer, recommended by my father, was swift. The Bakers argued my demand for 70% of the assets was excessive. I didn't care. Later, new photos appeared. Edward and Kendra, hand in hand on a beach, wearing matching rings, utterly indifferent to the rumors. Any last hesitation, I had vanished. Barely 2 minutes later, my best friend, Grace, reposted them with a biting caption, "May everyone who believes they're just friends have a partner blessed with many such friends." Her family, the Thompsons, were old money, beyond the Bakers' reach, and Grace had never liked Kendra. My lawyer filed the lawsuit. In court, Edward looked at me with stunned disbelief, unable to reconcile the patient wife with the cold, resolute woman before him. His lawyer stood. "We have new evidence to present." He played a video from a Phillips family press conference. On screen, Mr. Phillips smiled. "The rumors linking our daughter to the Baker family are unfounded. She wasn't alone in Europe. Her fiancé Andrew was with her. Kendra, arm in arm with a handsome man, Andrew smiled. That's right. We will take legal action against these lies." Then Andrew took the microphone. He paused, then laughed softly. "Everyone," he said calmly. "I, Andrew, cannot accept such a shameless lying fiancé." The courtroom erupted. Andrew continued, "Every story online is true." He presented evidence showing how Kendra had lied to him to be alone with Edward. Edward's face paled. He jumped up but was held back. He could only stare at me, his eyes burning with fury. When the outbreak ended, I handed over my own evidence, documents proving how my money had saved Baker Holding. The verdict came quickly. I won. Outside the courtroom, Edward stormed up to me. "Lorna, you did this on purpose," he hissed. At that moment, I no longer had the energy to respond to his tantrums. I met his gaze with a calm expression and replied without emotion, "You can think whatever you want. We were husband and wife, that money you gave voluntarily, and now you want to take 70%? Have you no shame?" Before I could respond, my brother stepped forward and gently moved me behind him. "Mr. Baker," he said, his tone low and amused, "I think your sense of shame got lost somewhere in Europe along with Miss Phillips's." The click and flash of cameras erupted around us, interrupting whatever Edward was about to say. The scandal surrounding the Baker family was already unbearable. He knew he couldn't afford to drag their name further, but public opinion had turned brutally against them. A video recorded outside the courthouse had gone viral, capturing him saying things he probably never thought the public would hear. Many who had previously accused me of being too extreme suddenly realized that without me, the Baker family might have collapsed long ago. Public opinion shifted quickly and brutally. The mockery went from criticizing his affair with his childhood sweetheart to attacking him as a man who lived off women and had no real worth. Lately, he had been behaving like a man possessed. He began appearing frequently near the Hopkins estate, lurking like a ghost from the past. Worse yet, he kept changing his phone number, trying to bypass my blocks, sending message after message, calling nonstop. After his 20th call, I told the butler, "Please tell Mr. Baker to leave. He is not welcome." I placed a new sign on the gate, "Edward Baker and dogs not allowed." Days later, after a shopping trip with Grace, we found Edward camped outside the gate just as a thunderstorm broke. I sighed. "Mrs. Fallon," I said to the housekeeper, "could you bring him inside? Poor thing, he looks so pitiful out there in the rain." Edward's eyes lit up with hope. He stepped forward, just as Mrs. Fallon emerged from the bushes with a small puppy under her umbrella. His face darkened. No one looked at him. He stood, soaked and abandoned. Just as he turned to leave, an umbrella appeared over his head. He turned, expecting to see me. His mind had already begun rehearsing what he would say to win me back. But it was Kendra, pale and sad in a white dress. He had always maintained the upper hand with her. He had always expected her to play along, to flatter and comfort him. He turned to look at me with fury through the window where I was sitting inside, happily playing with the puppy. "I heard you were here," she said quietly. "And when I saw the rain, I just thought, why didn't you bring an umbrella? What if you get sick?" For a second, his heart seemed to soften. Then he hesitated. Edward clenched his jaw. From my place on the sofa, I took my phone and aimed it through the upstairs window, capturing a few sharp photos of Edward and Kendra standing very close together in front of my family house as a loving couple. Without a word, I sent the photos to the group chat. The chat fell silent instantly. Even Josh, who had just defended Edward, turned red as a tomato with shame. He had been defending Edward, and meanwhile, Edward was cozying up to Kendra right in front of everyone. Maybe they didn't care about their reputation, but Josh still cared about his. After that, Edward disappeared. Baker Holding faced another financial crisis. The money I'd taken had been a lifeline they no longer had. Mrs. Baker now looked to Kendra to do what I had done, but Kendra had no intention of emptying her bank account for a family she wasn't a part of. I returned to work at the Hopkins Group, my life moving on. What I didn't expect was Kendra confronting me in the parking lot after work. Her face was pale, her eyes desperate. "Lorna," she said hoarsely, "why? Why are you divorcing him? Why are you taking their money?" "I'm a businesswoman, Miss Phillips," I said coldly. "I assess risks and benefits. I withdraw when the time is right." "If it weren't for you," she hissed, "I would be Mrs. Baker. Half of everything would be mine." I simply looked at her, saying nothing. Suddenly, she lunged at me. I saw it coming. A slight turn, a firm grip, and I had her pinned to the ground. "Lorna!" She screamed up at me, remembering too late that I'd trained in martial arts for a decade. The police and my brother arrived quickly. The news spread. Edward, shocked, made his final mistake. Without verifying the facts, he leaked the story to the media. But this time, official statements were issued, and the truth came out. The court of public opinion delivered its final verdict. Rival families, long at odds with the Bakers, seized the moment, joining forces to dismantle Baker Holding piece by piece. Edward was overwhelmed. By the time the Baker family officially declared bankruptcy, I had already regained full control of the market landscape. I threw myself completely into the Hopkins Group, stronger, wiser, and finally free. If this story stirred your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a dose of love dopamine. I'll keep bringing you more tales of passion, heartbreak, and redemption crafted for the ones who still believe in love. And if you stayed until the very end, thank you. You're the kind of soul who believes in love, even when it hurts. Love harder, dream deeper, until the next heartbeat.